Hey everyone, welcome back to Ormsby Farm, the Halfway Homestead. I am excited about this video this week because last week I announced that I was going to start a challenge called Stock the Shelf September. And I have done just that. Now let me tell you, I didn't go as cray-cray as I did in the Every Bit Counts challenge, where I did something, if not sometimes two things every single day. I just let it go with the flow, y'all, and I just did what I did, and I said I was going to focus on mainly meats, soups, and holiday stuff. Now, after talking to some of my friends on our podcast around the Hay Bale and Hey Y'all Hey radio show, leaving it right there, one thing that we discussed and heard from y'all is another way of stock up the shelves or stock the shelves September is through like paper products and stuff through the winter. Toilet paper, stocking up the shelf with soaps and candles and all of that kind of stuff. Heating pieces of wood, that kind of stuff. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to do a little bit on what I did. I did 4 different projects that I put on my canning shelves. And we're also going to talk about what I'm planning on doing next week. And we're going to talk about some of the paper products that I'm thinking. I don't want to say just paper products. We're going to talk about the non-can items that I plan on making sure is stocked up. Because big rumor is, especially through the Farmer's Almanac, is that we're going to have a really cold and wet winter. So I want to get stocked all the way up. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get into the intro. But first, thank you so much to all of y'all who have been joining me on this. But if you're new, hello, my name is Casey. I am from Ormsby Farm, the Halfway Homestead. I was a city boy that moved out to the country, but then I sold and moved back to the city. But now I'm planning to move back to the country. So if you're interested in these type of videos, if these videos interest you, whether that's baking from scratch, backyard chickens, canning, preserving, all of the homesteading kind of stuff, I hope you go ahead and click that subscribe button. But also click the bell, because then YouTube will notify you anytime that I put new videos out. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's get into the intro. And I'm moving this because this is awkward.
Ormsby Farms and the Halfway Homestead.
Alrighty, y'all. Ooh, I look very denim-y today. I just noticed that as I got on camera. I'm very denim-y. But let's first talk about kind of what I plan on doing next week that is non-canned items, because we're going to go into kind of a voiceover montage of all of the stuff that I prepared. I did 4 different recipes this week. I canned up some chicken. I canned up some chicken enchilada soup. I canned up some chicken and veggie dump soup. And I did some taco ground beef. Now, before I start talking about that, I just want to say one kind of thing, kind of like a hint, especially to try it out during Stock the Shelf September. And that is meats. Now, do I raise my own meat? Not this year, but I have in the past. And I love farm fresh meats. Do I buy meats from my friends that have farm fresh meat, whether it's beef or pork? Yes, I have. Do I have any more in my freezer? No, I do not. And I need to head out to where I used to live and go buy some for my friends. But am I ashamed to say if I walk into a Kroger or a Publix and I see the clearance section and there's a family pack of chicken legs for $4, I'm not going to grab it? You know I am. And that is because it is so cheap to do that and throw it into some cans, because you're really using, excuse me, you're really using that canned chicken for either casseroles. You can use it for chicken salad. You can pull it off and use it for taco meat. And then sometimes I use it for food for Destiny. Yeah, Destiny's actually looking at me right now as I'm saying that. And it pulls off the bone beautifully. Literally, once it's canned and you pop it open, you just pull and the bone slides out like butter. But yes, I do that. I do buy, hello, my name is Casey. I buy clearance meat and I put it on my shelves. Sorry, not sorry. It is the best time to do it during September and to get your shelves stocked up for the winter, for soup season, and for casserole season. Also, find out when your local grocery store restocks. because that means a lot of the meat that is not sold will go on a huge discount. And that's when you want to get it. When the trucks come in, by the trucks, I mean the loading trucks of all the new product. So find out when that is, and then go in and shop that day, because usually they're marking their produce down, produce, meats, all of that kind of stuff significantly. Just saying, just a little hint. But things that I'm worrying about this week that are not on my canning shelves is this homestead where I am now has a wood burning fireplace. So I, besides having trees that I'm having cut down that I will use the wood from that, I am going to stock up on getting some wood packs from local farmers. It's so precious. When I'm driving into the town that's kind of around the corner, on the corner is he must be probably maybe 12 or 13. He's a little entrepreneur, and he is selling honey, and he is selling firewood that he has cut himself from their property. So I'm going to be getting a couple stacks from that, because I always like to support, future farmers of America kiddos. So I'm doing some of that, and I'm also going to be stocking up on toilet paper, because I'm one of those people that I'm not going to run out of toilet paper. We're just not going to do it. Okay? So those are my kind of paper things, paper non-canned products that I'm going to stock up on. And by stock up, I mean I want to have 2-3 months kind of stocked away and ready to go. It just makes the holidays so much easier. But now let's go ahead and jump into what I canned this week. Because next week I'm going to be kind of doing the same thing. And that's what I'm going to kind of bring to you every week for my Stock the Shelf September video, is usually canned meats, canned soups, and holiday stuff. And next week we're going to be doing some canned hard-boiled eggs. We're going to be doing some more soup and chili, and we're going to be doing some more meat. So let's go ahead and let's get into what I did this week, which was a lot of fun. It's all stocked up on the shelves. And then wrap this video up. So it's going to be, I don't want to say it's going to be a shorter video, because every time I do that, it's a longer video. But let's go ahead and wrap this video up by showing you what I did this week. Alrighty, y'all. So the first one that I'm doing is I'm doing some chicken drumsticks, chicken legs. Y'all, I said that before, that I am not ashamed to say that I get it off the clearance item. And this family pack was $4.51. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raw pack it. I'm putting 2 chicken legs downward and 1 chicken leg upwards. That's how I've noticed that they fit best. And it's a good amount of chicken for a casserole or something like that. Y'all, I am putting the raw chicken right into some clean, sterile jars, and that is it. I'm not adding any water. I'm not adding any seasoning. I am just doing that. I will add the seasoning once I open it up and use it. So here I am as I'm putting all those chickens in. This is what all of them look like. Again, I'm not adding water. It will make its own liquid. I'm making sure, though, because of the raw chicken, that I'm wiping the rim of the jars so there's no sediment that's left behind that could prohibit the seals. And what I'm going to do is I'm using my favorite 4-jar canning lids. If you want some of your own 4-jar canning lids, click my link down below and use Ormsby10 for 10% off of your purchase. They have jars too, and y'all, I've ordered some. Okay, so my jars are in my Nesco electric pressure canner, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure it's steaming high for 90 minutes and let it go. If y'all want to see more of a tutorial on the Nesco, I do have a video. I will leave it up in the right hand corner so you can go and watch. I'm not going to really show you how to use the Nesco on this video. All right, those looked wonderful. This, I'm going to make some soup. We had grilled out some chicken the night before, and I decided to use what was left over, which was a lot, for this soup and a chicken veggie soup. So I'm just cutting it up, cubing it up, dicing it, sampling it for quality control, as you can see. And I'm just going to put it in. Now, I have never done it this way before, but I thought it probably will work great, so we're going to find out together. I always like to make sure that I have the equal amount of the beans and the meat in the soups. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm putting the chicken in first. You see I have all the cubed up chicken, probably equivalent to about a cup. I'm putting in probably the equal amount of black beans that are rinsed. And we're going to put everything on top of it. We're going to make the soup in the jar. Y'all, it is processing for 90 minutes, and then you have to heat it back up anyways. I thought this would be absolutely wonderful. So that was some bell peppers that I'm putting on top of it. This is going to be a chicken enchilada soup, if I didn't say that before. I'm doing a tablespoon, maybe a heaping tablespoon of my home canned salsa, as you saw there. Straight into it, y'all. We are just making it that freaking easy. I did see something like this from Jessica over at Three Rivers Homestead. She does this with her roasts. So I thought, listen, I'm going to try it and see if it works. This right here is enchilada sauce. I usually make my own, but I didn't have any on the shelf, so I had to go buy it. Green chilies, I just don't raise, so I had to go buy that. But we're doing about a teaspoon of that in there. We were equally distributing the chicken enchilada sauce. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a tablespoon or a heaping tablespoon of my homemade fajita seasoning. Y'all remember you said I use my fajita seasoning for taco meats. Anything taco, fajitas, Mexican. Again, I usually have my own chicken broth, but I am all out on the shelf, so I had to get some of this from the Aldi's. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it 3/4 of the way with chicken broth and then backfill it with some water. With all the seasoning and stuff in it, it's not going to lose flavor because we have the water. Making sure that I get all of the air bubbles out. Brought it up to about 1 inch of headspace. And what we're going to do now is we're going to make sure all of the rims are wiped and cleaned, because we're going to use our favorite handy dandy 4-jar canning lids yet again. That is all that I'm using right now, guys. They're just amazing. I've never had such success with seal rate. So I'm using those. Don't they look so pretty, and they smelled so good. And one thing that I do want to remind you that I said in my tutorial on the Nesco electric pressure canner is if it is cold items in the jar, you want colder or room temperature in your Nesco. Hot food, hot water. So that's what I normally do. That's my standard go-to. So I'm using the leftover chicken that I had from that last recipe the next night, and I'm doing basically a chicken and veggie dump soup. This is stuff that Mom likes. I am not a chicken vegetable kind of soup kind of dude. We were trying to dump out some of the store-bought beans, so those are garbanzo beans. And she had some leftover broccoli. She just pulled out all the leftover veggies that were in the fridge that she had been using, that we needed to use up before they kind of went bad. So we did some broccoli. We did some whole baby carrots. You could have cut up the carrots. I checked with the boss lady, Mom, and I said, do you want cut up or do you want whole? She said whole, so that's what we're doing. And I'm putting in some raw spinach. Again, I've never done this before. We are trying this out and seeing how it goes. Spoiler alert, is everything sealed and looked good. So when we heat it back up, I'll probably mix it up just to make sure everything is cooked all the way, which I sure it is, for 90 minutes. And I'm doing the same kind of thing as I did for the chicken enchilada because I was out of broth. I am doing 3/4 of the way with some chicken broth, and then I'm going to backfill with water. And it won't. I didn't use any seasoning in this because she said she wanted to add her seasoning when she opened the soup back up. So that's what we did. So I backfilled with water, and I'm just mixing everything down. Some of them I did break off some of those long, like, spinach leaf stem things. But they all mixed up really nice, and it turned out really pretty after I pulled them out of the canner. I gave them a little shake and everything mixed around, and it just looked like a really pretty soup. But the spinach, I probably should have put the spinach in very first. If I do it again, I'll do that with the chicken. But again, wiping the rims like I always do, it's just really good practice to get into the habit, even though it's just water and stuff going in there. It's a really good habit to just wipe and check for any cracks or that kind of stuff. And we're going to put on the 4-jar canning lids. Again, I'm getting low on this, so I had to order some more. And of course, I've already gotten it because they are so amazing at sending it out so fast and quick. Finger tight for the rings and putting it into the Nesco for, again, 90 minutes. It is a standard 90 minutes for quarts. If you have meat, it's over 60% of meat in your item. And that's how they turned out. I did give it a little shake, and it all mixed better together. So it's normal for it to look like that. All right, now we're going to do 2 pints. I have figured out that a pound of ground beef is about 2 pint jars. And that is 2 dinners right there for tacos. What I like to do is I like to brown my meat. As you saw, I'm going to use a teaspoon of my fajita seasoning at the very bottom of my jars like I do my fiesta beans. And then I'm going to backfill them with the hot ground beef that I just fixed. I'm going to fill it up with water once I'm done, but I finally figured out that, Casey, maybe you should move the camera so people can see. I'm using a slotted spoon to make sure I get as much of the grease out as possible because you don't really want the grease in there. But I am backfilling right there. Again, I said it is about 2 pints. It's probably maybe 3/4 of it. But it always turns out really good every time I've done this. I did it during Every Bit Counts challenge. Backfill with water, making sure all of the air bubbles are out. And because this is ground beef, you definitely want to make sure that you are wiping the rim because it is greasy and it can leave this film on the edge of the jar, which will prohibit the seals. These are wide mouth, so I'm using my wide mouth rings and 4-jar lids. Again, if you want the discount code Ormsby10 down below, put it in for 75 minutes because it's pints. 75 minutes in your Nesco, and then you are going to have some wonderful, delicious canned taco meat. All right, y'all, thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you enjoyed this video and you were enjoying hashtag Stock the Shelf September, I hope you go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe and press that bell icon. If you want to join in on the Stock the Shelf September, make sure to use this hashtag that's right here on the screen. Tag my channel, Ormsby Farm, the Halfway Homestead, and let's see what you're doing. I will add you into a playlist. There is a playlist that I have on YouTube, and I will add your video so fellow friends who are looking for this kind of stuff can find it all in one place. You could also go ahead and follow me on social media because I post every other day, every 3 days about Stock the Shelf, and that's at Instagram, Facebook, and Threads. Those are the only 3 places you can find me, but all of it's at Ormsby Farms. And y'all, I will see y'all on the next video. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your weekend and a wonderful week to come. Bye, y'all. Be blessed.